Hello everyone, welcome, marhaba, shalom. I am so excited to welcome you all to this Mimouna celebration of peace, highlighting the recent cultural alliance between Israel and Morocco. My name is Jackie Barzvi. I'm a dancer and the creator of the Mizrahi Dance Archive, which is a website that highlights different Jewish dances from across the Middle East and North Africa, but I'll talk more about that later. As many of you already know, Mimouna is the North African Jewish celebration that marks the end of Passover. However, this year, in light of the recent cultural historic alignment between Morocco and Israel, we're also celebrating new cultural bridges that are being made, not just between the two nations, but really between the two people as well. Tonight is a multicultural event, showcasing the next generation of American, Israeli, and Moroccan talent. Tonight is also dedicated in the memory of Zohara El-Fassia, an Israeli-Moroccan singer and poet who was one of the first female recording artists in Morocco and one of the pioneers of modern Arabic music. This program was organized by the Consulate General of Israel to New England in a historic collaboration with the Honorary Consulate of Morocco in New England. I would also like to thank the event co-sponsors: CJP, AJC New England, the Israeli House, ANU, Museum of Jewish People, Jemena, IAC Boston, Jewish Arts Collaborative, the Mizrahi Dance Archive, Beth Abraham Sephardic Congregation of New England, Northeastern University Hillel, and the Consulate General of Israel to the Southeast. A special thank you to Amir Tanmour, the Director of Cultural Affairs at the Israeli Consulate, for putting this event together. Thank you, Amir. We could not have done this event without you. And now I am honored to welcome Ambassador Meron Rubin, the Consul General of Israel to New England, and Carol Kopelman, Honorary Consul of Morocco to New England, to share their greetings with you.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm excited to be here with you today and this reimagined Mimouna celebration, highlighting the long-standing cultural alliance between Israel and Morocco and the newly established normalization between the two nations. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with my friend, Mrs. Carol Koppelman, the Honorary Consul of Morocco to New England. The Israeli Consulate's team and I are looking forward to the future collaborations between the two consulates.
Thank you, Meron, and the Consulate General of Israel to New England for inviting me to co-sponsor this significant celebration of cultural coexistence and shared societies. LL 555 was the number of the December 22 historic direct flight from Israel to Morocco. The number wasn't chosen randomly. 555 is a subtle reference to Hamsa, 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 an expression similar to knock on wood that's common to Arab and Jewish cultures, symbolized by the popular five-fingered Hamsa amulet. Today, we also say Hamsa, 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 that the friendship between the nations will be fruitful for the next generations to come.
Amen to that. The large number of Moroccan Jews living in Israel, estimated at between 750,000 and 1 million, has assured a steady stream of Israeli visitors to Morocco since the 1980s. In 2019, 45,000 Israeli tourists visited Morocco. Now we are expecting some 200,000 Israeli tourists per year.
In the opposite direction, 3,000 Moroccan tourists visited Israel in 2019. That's not so much, but this number should rise dramatically. I invite all Israelis to visit Morocco once COVID restrictions permit and enjoy the culture, arts, foods, and countless historical attractions this kingdom has to offer.
Israel welcomes all Moroccans to visit in the post-COVID times and enjoy our fabulous beaches, music and dance scene, historical sites, and much more. We wish you
a happy Mimouna,
and we
and
hope
you
you
enjoy
today's program. Shalom,
Shalom,
salam, peace.
And now I'm thrilled to show you a very special curated presentation from ANU, the Museum of the Jewish People in Tel Aviv. They recently created a huge overhaul, rebranded, and brought together this beautiful exhibit of collections of items that tell the story of the Jewish people of North Africa. We are joined today by Racheli Kaplan, Director of Strategic Partnerships at the museum. Shalom, Racheli, and welcome.
Thank you, Jackie, for the nice introduction, and thank you to the Consulate General of Israel to New England, and especially to Amir Tadmor, Director of Cultural Affairs, for initiating such a meaningful and festive event, bringing so many partners to the table. Kol hakavod, well done. ANU, Museum of the Jewish People, formerly known as Bet Hatfutzot, was established in 1978. Some of you may recall this groundbreaking, state-of-the-art museum. While the ongoing story of the Jewish people remains ever so relevant, the technology and narrative was outdated, requiring a major overhaul. After 10 years in the planning and construction, raising $100 million and curating 70,000 square feet of display areas, we didn't let even COVID-19 stop us from opening it 3 weeks ago. We also rebranded ourselves as ANU, meaning us or we, which is more representative of the fact we are one people, whether we reside in Israel or not, whether we speak the same language, or even if we come from different states, from Morocco or Poland. The museum is now celebrating Jewish life in an all-encompassing, pluralistic, and inclusive manner. If a picture paints 1,000 words, then the Bernard H. and Miriam Oster Visual Documentation Center at the Museum of the Jewish People speaks countless volumes. The visual documentation collections covers a vast area of Jewish life, including communities, synagogues, public institutions, culture, art, holidays, ceremonies, families, and home life, lifestyles, trades, professions, key personalities, and events. Tonight, you will enjoy a sneak peek of a few of our photographs depicting Jewish Moroccan life and traditions, as well as a newly produced video connecting the past to the present. Please consider this a personal invitation to visit the museum when circumstances permit to do so. And until then, please visit our website for additional information, educational resources, and engaging programs. Enjoy the evening. Salam alaikum. Shalom aleichem. Thank you.
صار قلبي وليس عندي ريمان نمور يحيداتي لو ما سانقان ضرور قربتي نفسي ولا اشتقت حمال كيف نغبل قلبي نحوس ويا يتفتل صلاتي ببل مسؤول طابا ورماتني الموجة وجسمي باللهبة يغطي نفسي بشمعة أعبا لم قلبي يرفع ولو يكون كالنبال يتعدل على الغطور بالكمال.
The Jewish Moroccan community was one of the most impressive, culturally rich communities. The majority of Moroccan Jews came to Israel upon its establishment, but kept a very strong connection to their traditions, their folklore, and their cultural icons. One of these cultural icons being, of course, Zohara Al-Fassia, who was not only a huge star in the Maghreb during the mid-20th century, but also performed for Morocco's royal family. Al-Fassia moved to Israel in 1962, where unfortunately her career started to fade away. She died in 1994, but her legacy absolutely still lives on. Leading Israeli singer and artist Netta El-Kayam, who herself was born to parents of Jewish Moroccan descent, has been doing incredible work to amplify the voices of singers just like Al-Fassia for the younger generation. The video you're about to watch is an original production by ANU, Museum of the Jewish People in Tel Aviv. In the video, El-Kayam pays tribute to Al-Fassia. I hope you enjoy.
זוהר אל-פסיה, זמרת החצר אצל מוחמד החמישי ברבת מרוק. אומרים עליה שכאשר שרה, לחמו חיילים בסכינים, לפלס דרך בהמון, להגיע אל שולי סמלתה, לנשק את קצות אצבעותיה, לשים כסף לאות תודה. الحباب عملوا له على الزهرة الفاسية. זוהרה אל-פסיה נולדה במרוקו, והיא נולדת לאבא חזן. אני מרגישה קרובה לדמות שלה, כי הקונצרט הראשון ששמעתי בחיים שלי היה בבית הכנסת עם אבא. היא שרה פיוטים, היא שרה קצת שירים עממיים בערבית. אבל כמובן, כמו נשים בשאר המקומות היהודיים בעולם, לאט לאט היא נדחקת החוצה מתוך עולם בתי הכנסת, ומחפשת את הדרך שלה להיות חזנית ולשיר ולתת סולואים. היא מתחילה להופיע בקברטים, למורת רוחם של ההורים, וגם באירועים לא רק של יהודים, אלא גם של מוסלמים. מגיעה פתאום חברת תקליטים לצפון אפריקה, חברת תקליטים בינלאומית, ובוחרת את זוהרה להקלטות של כמה אלבומים. מהרגע הזה זוהרה הופכת להיות שם ידוע בעולם המוזיקה, ושירים שלה מתחילים להיות מושמעים בכל תחנות הרדיו בצפון אפריקה. והיא בעצם מתחילה לעשות קריירה, ולהיות מוזמנת למקומות יותר ויותר חשובים להופיע בהם, ביניהם חצר המלך, שבעצם המלך במרוקו זה כמו המדינה. זוהרה מגיעה לכאן לאחר קריירה די מפוארת שהיא משאירה במרוקו בעקבות החלום להגיע לארץ הקודש. היום ניתן למצוא אותה באשקלון, בעתיקות ג', לשכת הסעד, ריח שיערים של קופסאות סרדינים על שולחן מתנודד בין 3 רגליים. שטיחי מלך מרהיבים מרובבים על מיטת סוכנות. והיא, בחלוק בוקר בהוי, שעות במראה בצבעי פור זולים. וכשהיא אומרת, מוחמד החמישי אישון עינינו, אינך מבין ברגע הראשון. לזוהרה אל-פסיה קול צרוד, לב צלול, ועיניים שבעות אהבה. זוהרה מסמלת בשבילי גם אישה בעולם של גברים. היא הייתה אישה מאוד חזקה, כוחנית, לא הלכה בדרך שסללו לנשים באותם ימים. היא חותנה שלא ברצונה בגיל מאוד מאוד מוקדם, והיא מספרת על הרצון להיות אומנית. מגיל מאוד מאוד צעיר היא דווקא בחלום שאני אומנית. ככה אמרה לי המורה בבית ספר כשהייתי קטנה, היא זיהתה בי שיש בי אמנית, וככה אני רוצה להיות. השיר שבחרתי הוא השיר אביאדי, שזה בעצם מתוך המילה בערבית אביאד, שזה לבן, ומשתמשים בה במרוקו כדי לתאר מישהי שהיא ברת מזל. אני ממש ממש רוצה שלא ישכחו מי הייתה זוהרה אל-פסיה.
All right, next up, we're going to travel to Agadir, Morocco, to hear one of my favorite musicians, and honestly, one of my favorite people ever. Her name is Lala Tamar. She is an incredible, accomplished musician who's from Israel, but has been spending the last few months in Morocco. She's accompanied by Mehdi Nazouli, a musician based in Morocco with other musicians as well, and they put together this Mimouna concert for us, and it is so, so fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do.
Thank you, Jackie.
היי, thank you, Jackie. סחה, שוקרן.
חג שמח, שלום לכולם. Hello everybody. مرحبا بكم معنا الميمونة ديالنا. Welcome to our Mimouna day. We are very happy to be with you. We are super excited to have this celebration here in Agadir in Morocco. And let's start. جتني جديدة غرموا عليها هادي القادة شحال تمنيتها جتني جديدة غرموا عليها مركان مسعودة أهلا وسهلا أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم فرحتوا قلبي نفرح بيكم جيتوا يا حبابي يا محلى اليوم أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم
هاد ميمونة شحال مزيانة نشطحوا فيها ونزغرتوا عليها هاد ميمونة شحال مزيانة نشطحوا فيها ونغرموا عليها بركة مسعودة أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم فرحتوا قلبي نفرح بيكم جيتوا يا حبابي يا محلى اليوم أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم فرحتوا قلبي نفرح بيكم جيتوا يا حبابي يا محلى اليوم أهلا وسهلا أهلا بيكم تبارك الله عليكم صحة
Thank you so much. So we started with a song called Ahlan wa Sahlan, welcome, ברוכים הבאים, written by the great Maurice El-Madiouni, which is a very famous, known Jewish Algerian composer. And we are so happy to be able to celebrate this Eid, this Mimouna. It's an ancient holiday that was celebrated here in Morocco by the Jews and the Muslims together. So it's actually a meeting, a melting point where people could sit together, dance, sing, eat a lot of sweet, beautiful things, and enjoy their meeting. And I think personally also that it's a very something about this Mimouna, this also, which is also a spirit, a Gnawa spirit, is very feminine about the new, everything that's renewing, the new year, the coming out from the darkness, from the winter to the new, to the spring, to everything that is blossoming and new and fresh. So we are really blessed to have this opportunity to celebrate it together like it was celebrated here before so many years ago, and keeping this tradition alive, this Mimouna tradition. So we will continue with a very old Shuguri song, also a Jewish song, Gharbi, from North Africa, called Ya Billarj, and I hope you keep on enjoying it.
ما لي سوى فقري إليك وسيلة ما لي سوى فقري إليك وسيلة فلئن رضيت فأي باب أقرع فلئن رضيت فأي باب أقرع
هيا بالله يا طويل القايمة يا ساكن بين الغراف التنين ما ترعاشي في بحيرة لالا مولة الخلخال المرطلين
يا بالله
Thank you.
again السلام عليكم. حنا فرحانين بزاف ملي تنشاركوا معكم هذه الحفله ديال ميمونه. We are so happy. We sending so much love from Agadir, and especially thank you guys to make this event. As you know, we just happened like for the moment it's 1 year of pandemic coronavirus, so we need that and we need to see each others, and I think it's the right moment to make peace. One love, one heart for you guys. صحة كويو. روخا يا ميمونة الله الله ميمونة روخا يا ميمونة الله الله ميمونة بركة يا ميمونة الله الله ميمونة بركة يا ميمونة الله الله ميمونة بركة يا ميمونة 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 الله ميمونة شكون سيباني ميمونة وشكون كواني ميمونة مولات شباطة ميمونة
you guys.
كويوس.
Thank you, Mehdi Nasuli.
Thank you
So
تمام.
much. Thank you. Thank
لا
you,
تمر.
everybody, for doing this with us. Shukran. Thank you to you too. תודה רבה. חג שמח לכולם. I want to say thank you to the Israeli consulate in Boston, to Hit the Road Music for making this happen, to Win Art Center for hosting us, and for Imad, Aziz, and Yunus, our beautiful band. Thank you so much.
And please guys, ladies and gentlemen, give a hands for Lala Tamar. سعيدكم. Happy Mimouna everybody.
Happy Mimouna.
Next up, I would love to show you the interview I did with two incredible musicians, Itamar Baruchov and Samir Langis. We got to sit down and talk about their Jewish Ganawa project, how they got started, and how they are putting together such incredible music and art during a pandemic. So I hope you enjoy. Hi guys, welcome. I'm so excited to have you both here. I want to introduce Samir and Itamar. Welcome guys. Nice to see you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
So we're going to do a special interview today to really get to know you guys and understand what the Jewish Ganawa Project is. I first want to formally introduce you both. So Itamar, joining us from Israel. I'm just going to briefly go over your bio. So Itamar was raised in the cosmopolitan city of Jaffa, now a significant presence on the international jazz scene. Itamar is creating a new musical hybrid, bringing the sacred sounds of his upbringing to a jazz quartet setting. Itamar first heard Sephardic music in his local synagogue and absorbed these maqams, or modes, of greater Middle East and North Africa, alongside a range of other musical influences, including the Mizrahi and Ashkenazi flavors that are his birthright. In addition to recording 3 albums as a leader, Baruchov also appeared on 3 albums with Yemen Blues, of which he was a founding member, arranger, and co-producer. The Itamar Baruchov Quartet was chosen to showcase at WIMEX 2019 in Finland. Itamar also just recently won the prestigious 2020 Letter One Rising Stars Jazz Awards European edition. So you have so many other things that I could talk about, but I think that would literally cover the entire interview. So you can check out his website at itamarbaruchov.com, but we're so honored to have you. And Samir Langis. So Samir is a Grammy-nominated musician, born and raised in the city of Agadir, Morocco. Music has always been a part of the constant variety of street sounds of his city, from merchants to entertainers to calls to prayer. Langis began learning Ganawa, a traditional spiritual trance music, when he was 8 years old from the Ganawa masters of Morocco. Langis makes great use of his traditional repertoire and adds in his own contemporary spin with additional jazz instruments and musicians. Taken as a whole, this exciting new artist uses a century-old North African tradition with the pulse and attitude of New York City and now North Carolina. Ganawa is not just the music, it's also the culture, says Samir. So also so honored to have you, so excited. And I do want to say I had the privilege of seeing you guys live pre-COVID. So I can attest that you are an incredible partnership and really amazing to watch either recorded or live. So it is a huge honor. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Jackie. It's an honor to be here too.
So I want to start with, how did you guys even meet? What was the connection that brought you together, and how did you decide to create the Jewish Ganawa Project?
I was a fan of Samir for a while. I've been a fan of Gnawa music for a long time. I was introduced to it by my father, who is also a musician and traveled to Morocco many times. And he brought back cassettes and CDs. So I've been a fan of the music for a long time. And then at a certain point in New York, there was a lot of talk about a new Gnawa group forming. And that was Samir's former group, Gnawa. And so I've been a fan for a while. I've seen him perform. And then at a certain point, I think it was the New York City Winter Jazz Fest. I had a gig with my quartet, and I really wanted to feature Samir. So we got in touch and we did that show together. And we've been kind of inseparable ever since. Samir was a guest in many of my shows. I was a guest on his shows. He recorded on my record. And then at some point we started, working on this project together.
As you became friends, not just like professional acquaintances, were there similarities that you found within the cultures with, being Israeli and a Moroccan, did you find that there was a lot of things that meshed well together that were really similar and that really worked from bringing your two cultures together for this project?
I can say from my part, definitely, Samir is, a very special person as well as a musician. And as he so beautifully said, being Ignawa is more than a music, it's a culture. So for me, even though Samir, I consider him a very dear friend, and, we talk on the phone almost every day, still every time we speak, I feel like I learn something from him. With that being said, there's a lot that is, I think, very familiar with our, between our cultures. Sephardic Judaism, although I'm not Moroccan myself, there are similarities. I mean, we love lamb, uh, we love drinking tea, we love, taking it easy when we can, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's always nice to find the things that bind us, the things that unite us, versus the things that divide us.
Yeah.
Same here, brother. Itamar, I just love looking at you and just, having Itamar with me on stage just makes me feel relaxed, It's like when you have your buddy basically, and he's my buddy. On stage, it's just like, most of the time, just so the people know, we don't rehearse. We just go. Like the show that you witnessed at Duke, Itamar, like we tried to rehearse, but then we went on stage. We're like, it's okay, we got it, and we just played the whole set. Like nothing was arranged, like 100%. But I trust Itamar, and I trust his artistic sense and the way he plays, and I just love it. And that's what really pushed me to work with him and do this Gnawa project that we are working on for the Jewish songs that we have in Morocco. And adding to that, Itamar is a very beautiful person. He's a humble human being, and I just love him, and incredibly talented. Like so amazing, and I just love working with him.
That's awesome. I mean, you can see on stage, you guys had this like fluidity. It seemed like you were having fun. I would have never told you didn't rehearse. I could never tell that. So that's a testament, I think, to your artistic talents. But for those who are joining us who maybe have never heard of Gnawa music or are unsure what that means, can you explain a little bit about what Gnawa music is and the connection to Jewish Moroccan culture, and maybe show us a little bit for people who've never heard of it before?
So basically, Gnawa music is a spiritual and trance and dance music. We have this long ritual nights. We call them lilas. Lila in Arabic means night. So basically, the ceremony starts from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. This is the new version of the lilas. Back in the days, used to last for like 6 days, but we call it musam. Like musam means like a gathering, like with all the people from the whole town, and then you just keep celebrating. But now we just have like 12 hours of this celebration, which is still a lot, which is long. Playing like straight for 12 hours, it's a little bit tough. And we have these spiritual colors. We call them al-Miluk, and we have 7 colors, and each color represents a spirit. And yeah, it's very deep. It's not just a music. It's more of a culture. You cannot just play the gambri and be like, oh, that's it, I am a master, I know it all. No, you still have to go deep into the tradition, and still have to learn the order of the songs and the colors. It's totally different from one city to another. If you go to Agadir, the order is different than Rabat, than Marrakesh, than Casablanca. And then if you go to the north, it's totally different. And that's how it's very complicated and very difficult to get deep into this music, because you cannot go to a conservatoire and then you're just gonna study music. You cannot go to a music school in Morocco and you're gonna study Gnawa. Even though if they have it, you still have to go and travel and meet with different masters from different areas, so you can learn all the different styles. of the Gnawa music.
Nice, cool. And what are some of the instruments that you guys use? I see one over there.
Yeah. Okay, so this one we call it. It has multiple names. Like some people call it gambri, some people call it sentir, hejhouj. So this is the gambri. It's like a piece of wood that's carved inside in the shape of a boat, and the strings are made of goat gats. And yeah, actually this gambri was gifted to me by the great Ma'allim Hamid Al-Qasri, which I send my salute. I love him so much. He's the guy who got me into Gnawa music, and because of him I am here today. Thank you so much, Ma'allim. And we have this baby castanets. I mean, they're a little bit heavy. So these are the castanets. We call them qaraqab as well. They're so loud, like, So imagine back in the days when the masters used to play the gambri with no speaker, and you have 6 pairs of this, and you can still hear the gambri. You can still hear it, and then you see people going in trance. To me, it's like mind blowing. Now I cannot play if I don't hear the gambri. Like I really want to hear it, But back in the days, like it was so beautiful. And yeah, so this is the sound of the castanet, just like to demonstrate some rhythms. They're so loud. Anyway, so these are the castanets.
Awesome. So cool. And what have you found when making the Jewish Gnawa project? Like, what is the Jewish connection? Are there certain songs? Were the Jewish community involved in Gnawa, gatherings, or what did you find when you were making this project?
I mean, like the Jewish culture, like is part of the Moroccan culture, as we always know, like, and that's part of my culture as well, and part of my heritage, and I'm proud of it, and that's why I want to bring it back to life, and that's why I want to do this new project with Itamar and bring these songs to life and just do them in a fusion way, but at the main time we are not gonna lose the beauty of the traditional part in it. And that's why I choose Itamar, because he knows how to keep it real while we're gonna fuse it with other instruments. And if we look back into all the traditional music that we have back in Morocco, like we have some Jewish influence in there. And I'm so proud that I want to go deep and bring that and introduce it to the world. And that's my job. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think really the essence of tradition is being a living tradition. It's more than a museum piece. It's something that we try to, make sure continues onward. And that's our way of honoring that. And, it's definitely a challenging thing to do when we're dealing with music that is so ancient and folkloric, but we really we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And Samir mentioned the great master Hamid Al-Qasri. He started introducing Western instruments in Gnawa, started back in the 70s. So we're nowhere near as great as the master, but I think that showed us a way that we can follow. So as Samir said, Gnawa music has a very, very vast repertoire of songs, and within that repertoire there is the repertoire of Gnawa music that is being sung for Jewish people in a Jewish lila. So in certain instances you would have a lila, a gathering, a night of music for a Jewish crowd or a Jewish person or a family, etc. And this is the music that was sung in these gatherings. It's very, very rarely documented, Nowadays, it's very rarely practiced, as there, almost the entire Jewish population has left North Africa. And this is why this, is very cool for us to be able to perform this music and make sure that it survives, and to really, do our part in introducing it to the world, uh, for the sake of the Moroccan tradition, for the sake of the Gnawa tradition, for the sake of the Jewish tradition, and just because it's really great music and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I just want to add like one more thing. Like the great singer, like an Amazigh singer, her name is Fatima Taba Amrand. She said like in Tamazight, like "اختبوا التلاص لغتسو التسجيلت," meaning if you run away from your roots, one day you'll come back looking for them. So I don't want to run away from my roots, so that's why I'm stuck with them, and I still want to dig more and bring them and share them with the world.
So what is your approach? Like, how do you guys work together in creating this music? When you're doing fusions, and especially now in this COVID era, like, has it been really different to collaborate and do this type of work when you're literally countries away during a pandemic? What's that been like?
It's definitely different. Samir mentioned before that we never rehearse. That's not exactly true. What happens is we used to always get together and rehearse, but then when it's time for the gig, we just do something else. you know, Samir, when he's on stage, I think he has the inspiration, and he knows what song needs to come next. And it might not necessarily be the song that we rehearsed before, but over this period of time, we learned the repertoire really well. So I can say that for me, it's been a process of constantly learning the repertoire, and then developing on it. During the last year, it's definitely been a different process because we can't get together, but we all the time listen to music, we discuss. Samir sends me recordings, I send him back recordings. We talk ideas and so on and so forth. Just like we did this video, that's basically has been our process in one way or another. We either record together or we just record separately. So, we just find ways to keep doing what we love, because otherwise we would go completely nuts.
That's true.
Speaking of an audience, has there been any particular response from people when you're presenting this Jewish Ganawa project, particularly from Moroccans or Israelis, or just the general audience? And has that reaction changed over time? And what is your audience reaction been to this music?
I can say that for the Israeli and or Jewish audiences, I think they are very, very keen to know about this music. In Israel, people have been more and more into Gnawa music, especially in recent years. And very few people know about Jewish Gnawa. So every time someone knows about it, they immediately become Samir's lifelong fan. And they're extremely excited about it, as am I. About I guess that's what I could say. We've yet to play this together in Morocco, but maybe Samir can talk about especially on social media, what has been the response of people over there.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is what I try to do, like I always try to get out of my comfort zone, A lot of people back home, not most of them, but some of them they don't really play this repertoire anymore. But, I'm like, yeah, it's part of my history, it's part of my culture, so I would love to share it with the world. We had some comments of people like, talking, as sometimes people will always talk, but with the time, those same people start making comments on videos and be like, thank you so much for posting these videos. We really enjoyed it. We've been looking for this music for so long and there is not much of it on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yes, that's what you want to hear, you know? Like you know, people will always criticize, people will always talk bad, people when you're not going to do something to satisfy people. Like you just want to do it because it makes you feel good and you think that's the right way to do it, and just do it. And you know, with the audience, like, you know, I hope one day we can bring Itamar to Morocco and we can make a beautiful concert there. And I would love to go with Itamar to Israel and just play a beautiful show for the Jewish Moroccan community or any other community over there, and just spread the love of music, because music is love.
I want to come to all those concerts. Morocco, do a world tour. I will follow. I will be the groupie. So thank you guys so much. This has really been really inspiring, and I love the work you do together and the music you're producing and the project that we're about to show, our little collaboration. It's really, really exciting stuff. But before we go, I just want to give you guys a moment. Do you have any projects coming up soon? Is there a way for people to follow you, maybe a certain social media or website that you use the most? What can we look out for in the future from you guys?
You can follow me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, or my website, itamarborokov.com. What's coming up for me is I'm just finishing up a piece that I'm writing for a string orchestra together with my jazz quartet, and it will be broadcast. It will be played in a live concert, hopefully in Texas, and will be broadcast live as well. So that's something to look out for me.
Nice, cool.
Yep. I'm Samir Langos. You can find me in the internet everywhere. Just put Samir Langos, you'll find me. And yeah, I'm still working. You know, yesterday actually I just arranged the song. Like I came up with some notes. I was like around 3 a.m. You know, so I go bed at 6 a.m. all the time. So at 3 a.m. I was just playing my Montgomery, and that's when I had like, you know, a new rhythm. So beautiful. And I just recorded. I haven't shared it with Itamar yet. So that's my inspiration. Comes always late at night when I'm in bed. And yeah.
It's really cool. That's why, you know, to have you guys here in this Mimouna together, it's amazing because you have so much experience and you're really fusing it together to share with the world. So thank you guys again, and I'm excited to show our project coming next.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everybody. Saha kuyu.
All right, as we get ready to close out the event, unfortunately, I know, I want to talk a little bit about dance and the video that you're about to see. So when I was doing the Mizrahi Dance Archive and doing all my research, I love doing research on Moroccan Jewish customs surrounding dance. And what really blew me away is the overarching love for dance and music that goes beyond religious beliefs and ethnic diversity in Morocco. The popular music, the shabby music, whether it's written by Jews or Muslims or whoever, are shared so unanimously and loved so unanimously via the people there and have been passed down throughout generations. So in Mimounas today, you will hear similar music that you will still hear in Morocco as well, which is so beautiful. But what really struck me is starting to do research on Gnawa and understanding Gnawa music, as Samir and Itamar were just explaining to us. Gnawa music is centered around ceremonies that involve more of a trance dance, less choreography, less hips, less kind of yalla fun, and more about releasing whatever is inside of you and going there for healing, which is a very different use of dance that we see with the Jewish community and the Muslim community. And I thought that was so beautiful. Not only do Jews and Muslims in Morocco share dance for joy, for weddings, for different celebrations around happiness, but they use dance in their very vulnerable moments, and they do it together. These ceremonies can have anyone in them, regardless of religion. And what I love about the story of Passover and why we're doing Gnawa music for Mimouna is that the history behind Gnawa music, the history of the slave trade and the instruments that represent shackles and slavery really coincide with our story of Pesach and coming out of slavery, our liberation from slavery. So we have these two groups that are celebrating very similar things and joining them together in the spirit of dance and healing and community. And I just feel like, what is better than that? So this interpretation that you're about to see is a collaboration between myself and Samir and Itmar and other wonderful musicians that are taking an artistic approach on Gnawa music. So we are trying to give you that sense of the spiritual dance, the trance, the lifting of the spirit, something probably different than you're used to seeing. And I hope you feel the energy from wherever you are, and it heals you and it gives you whatever you need to get through this interesting year that we've had together. If you would like to learn more about how dance is used in Judaism throughout the North Africa and Middle East region, visit the MizrahiDanceArchive.com, and I hope you enjoy.
رسول الله لا إله إلا الله شفا يا نبي الله ميمونة لا ميمونة مهمونة بو أبقنا لا إله إلا الله العزيز رسول الله لا إله إلا الله العزيز رسول الله لا إله إلا الله العزيز رسول الله ميمونة لا ميمونة مهمونة بو أبقنا لا إله إلا الله العزيز رسول الله ميمونة القناوية السودانية الفلانية الحصاوية بنتي كوبا الله يا للم ميمونة ميمونة يا خادم قناوية ميمونة يا بنتي كوبا ميمونة عزيز رسول الله لا إله إلا الله عزيز رسول الله ربي العفو ابو الله يعفو ميمونة الله يعفو ربي العفو يا ميمونة يا سودانية قناوية يا حصاوية بنتي كوبا بنتي حصة قناوية يا للابواب يا ميمونة بنتي حصة ابو الله يعفو ربي العفو يا ميمونة يا سودانية قناوية بنتي حصة الله يعفو يا ميمونة قناوية سودانية بنتي حصة بنتي كوبا هيا جاكي يا ميمونة قناوية
Happy Mimouna.
Mimouna 2021.
2021 from Morocco to America to Israel. One love, peace and love. Sahaboui.
Well, this marks the end of our journey together. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this tonight. It has been such an honor to go through this beautiful cultural exchange with everyone in celebration of this historic peace agreement between Israel and Morocco. I've honored to have been here with you all, and I want to say a special thank you to the participants, to the co-sponsors, to the Consulate of Israel and Morocco of New England, and to everyone involved in making this happen. I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and if you want to follow for updates, definitely check out Israel in Boston on Instagram, Facebook, all of that good stuff, and we hope to see you again in the future. Thank you so much, Chag Sameach, and have a great night.